could ask me that 1,000 times, and the answer is yes, yes, yes.
Making chicken in there.
A lab-grown chicken nugget.
Chicken grown in a lab.
What if the future of food, meat grown in labs, not farms, was sold as a planet-saving miracle, but ended up a billion-dollar bust? Lab-grown meat promised to end animal cruelty, slash emissions, and feed the world. Startups raised over $3 billion, hyped by billionaires like Bill Gates and tech giants like Tyson. Yet, in 2025, the industry's crumbling, startups are folding, costs are skyrocketing, and critics are calling it a scam. Was lab-grown meat a revolutionary dream, or a high-tech hoax that fooled us all? Let's dive into the messy truth behind this trillion-dollar gamble. It all started with a burger. In 2013, Dutch scientist Mark Post unveils the world's first lab-grown beef patty in London. It's made from cow muscle cells, grown in a lab, and costs a jaw-dropping $300,000. The media goes wild, calling it the future of food. By 2016, startups like Memphis Meats are promising cheap, cruelty-free meat by 2020, backed by investors like Peter Thiel and Cargill. The pitch? Take a few animal cells, feed them nutrients in giant steel bioreactors, and grow steaks without slaughter. It sounds like sci-fi, but the stakes are real. Livestock produces 14.5% of global greenhouse emissions, and by 2050, meat demand will surge 73% as the population hits 10 billion. Could lab-grown meat save the planet? The hype train accelerates. By 2023, over 150 startups globally raised $3 billion, with companies like Upside Foods and Eat Just snagging $598 million and $464 million, respectively. In 2020, Singapore approves Eat Just's lab-grown chicken nuggets, the first country to greenlight sales. In 2023, the US FDA and USDA follow, letting Upside and Good Meat sell cell-cultured chicken. Restaurants in DC serve it, and headlines scream, "The meat revolution is here!" Big players like Tyson and JBS jump in, betting on a $370 billion market by 2030. The Good Food Institute pushes for billions in public funding, and even President Biden's 2023 executive order backs alternative proteins. It's a gold rush, and everyone wants a piece. But here's where the cracks appear. Lab-grown meat, or cultivated meat, isn't as simple as it sounds. You start with stem cells from an animal or egg, feed them a nutrient mix, glucose, amino acids, vitamins, and grow them in bioreactors. Sounds clean, right? Except it's insanely expensive. In 2021, a kilogram of lab-grown chicken costs $5,000, compared to $3.11 for traditional chicken. Scaling up means building massive facilities. Think $450 million each, with 200 staff earning $100,000 salaries. To hit 10% of global meat supply, you'd need 4,000 factories costing $1.8 trillion, plus $80 billion yearly in labor, and $37 billion in maintenance. Most of us aren't paying $50 for nuggets. Then there's the science. Cells don't grow forever. Normal cells hit the Hayflick limit after a few dozen divisions. To scale, companies use immortalized cells, often derived from cancer-like cells that divide indefinitely. Critics, like those on X, warn these could raise health concerns, though companies insist cooked meat is safe. The nutrient media is another issue. Early versions used fetal bovine serum, which requires slaughtering pregnant cows. Hardly cruelty-free. Startups like Eat just claim they've switched to plant-based media, but soy-based amino acids may spike estrogen levels, potentially linked to infertility or cancer risks. No long-term studies exist to prove safety, and academics haven't tested samples for nutrition. Is this really the clean meat we were promised? The environment's the big selling point, but even that's shaky. Lab-grown meat uses less land and water than beef, but bioreactors guzzle energy. A 2023 UC Davis study, though criticized for its methods, claimed it could be 25% worse for emissions than cattle farming. Grass-fed beef, some argue, sequesters carbon, while lab meat's industrial setup might not. Plus, the supply chain for nutrients like glucose or amino acids doesn't exist at scale. If you're powering factories with coal or relying on soy monocrops, how green is it? Critics like Paul Wood, a biotech veteran, call it a fantasy, saying the tech's too complex to rival traditional farming. By 2024, the dream's unraveling. Venture funding drops from $1.6 billion in 2021 to 2022 to just $20 million in 2024. Startups like New Age Meats shut down, and others scale back. Upside Foods' California plant can make 50,000 pounds of meat yearly. Peanuts compared to the 75 billion pounds of meat Americans eat. Taste is another hurdle. Early products are wet mash, better for nuggets than steaks. Consumers call it Frankenmeat, and right-wing figures like Marjorie Taylor Greene fuel fears of a Gates-led conspiracy to force-feed us fake meat. Meanwhile, meat lobbies push back, spreading misinformation about cancer risks to protect their $227 billion industry. Both sides are playing dirty. So, is it a scam? Not exactly. The tech works. Eat Just's nuggets are sold in Singapore, but it's nowhere near the game-changer promised. A scam implies intent to deceive, but this feels more like overzealous hype. Startups believed they could scale fast, like genome sequencing, which dropped from $2.7 billion to 600. But meat's different. Biology and economics don't bend as easily. Investors, lured by glossy pitches, ignored red flags like David Humbert's 2021 report warning of insurmountable costs. The Good Food Institute, a key cheerleader, downplayed these concerns, banking on investor FOMO. It's not fraud, but it's a bubble that's bursting, leaving taxpayers and shareholders holding the bag. What's the fallout? Jobs. Upside and eat. Just employ hundreds, but 4,000 factories could have meant millions. Farmers fear losing livelihoods if lab meat ever scales, though that looks unlikely. Consumers are stuck with pricey, untested products, and the climate's still a mess. Lab meat's not saving us anytime soon. The real scam might be the distraction. While we chased bioreactors, solutions like regenerative farming or plant-based diets got less attention. As one ex-user put it, capitalism says no to lab meat, redirecting funds to flashier fads. Maybe the lesson is, we can't tech our way out of every problem. If you're an entrepreneur, take note. Dream big, but ground your pitch in reality. Test scalability early. Don't assume costs will magically drop. For consumers, dig into what's on your plate. Lab-grown meat might hit shelves, but check the price, ingredients, and science before biting. And if you care about the planet, support local farmers or cut back on meat. Those work now. No bioreactor needed. The lab-grown meat saga shows even the shiniest ideas can flop if they ignore biology, economics, or public trust. Was it a hoax? More like a trillion-dollar mirage we all bought into. Lab-grown meat promised a utopia, but delivered a reality check. It's not dead. Startups like Celia are still raising millions, but it's no silver bullet. What do you think? Is lab-grown meat a scam, or just a dream that needs time? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Smash that like button if you're skeptical of the hype. Subscribe for more deep dives into business myths, and hit the bell to stay in the know. Let's keep questioning the shiny promises and uncover the truth. See you in the next one.